conditioning is so you can punch right back, and that's the thing Diaz didn't do.
And talk about throwing punches and bunches. Gary Russell Jr. throwing nearly 1,000 punches in this fight out.
And intriguingly, Diaz landed very effectively, a pretty good percentage, close to 40% when he threw, but Russell was so much busier, and ultimately, even though the numbers were close in terms of what was landed.
Let's mute it right there. Well, right now it's May 19th, 2018. What is it, about 11:37, I think this says, p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm TstreeT Controversy. It's TstreeT Controversy Live. And it looks like we may not see, from the looks of things, the way things been going for him, we may not see Gary Russell until May, June, July, August of 2019. Now, in the last 3.5 years, since December of 2014, he has fought 4 fights. This is his 4th fight. Now, I feel he should win this fight. Jojo Diaz, is not that he was too green, 25 years old. He was the mandatory challenger for, should still be WBC champion Gary Russell Jr. The issue is he is a pressure fighter, not necessarily a power puncher. I mean, depending, he's got 14 KOs, but he wasn't jabbing his way in. That seemed to be a real big issue, is he was doing excellent body work, but he wasn't doing enough to get in on the inside. And Gary Russell, being as fast as he is, he's the type of guy that can throw. Hold on, let's listen to this.
15 to 113. Judges Nathan Palmer and Dave Moretti both scored about 117 to 111. All three in favor of the winner. And still champion, Mr. Gary Russell Jr.
We're going to wait and see if they do a post-fight interview with Gary Russell Jr. Okay, well, let me lay out the 126-pound division for you. He is the WBC champion still at 126 pounds. You have Leo Santa Cruz, who's the WBA Super World. You have Abner Maris, who's the WBA World. Those two are fighting on June the 9th. You have Josh Warrington, who defeated Lee Selby earlier today over in the UK. He's the IBF champion. You have Oscar Valdez, the WBO, and Carl Frampton, the WBO interim. So it's you might as well say it's already set in stone that WBO interim champion and IBF champion Josh Warrington are going to be fighting in August. And if Lee Selby would have won, he wouldn't have been ready for the fight anyway. We're waiting to see if they're going to do a post-fight interview. He wouldn't have been likely to fight anyway because of the cuts he suffered earlier. So, in my opinion, I'm wondering if, these were the cards, by the way, 115, 113, 117, 111, 117, 111 for Gary Russell. I see 116, 112, 117, 111. Let's see if they do a post-fight interview. In a perfect world, since they'll be fighting less than a month apart, I would love to see Gary Russell versus the winner of Leo Santa Cruz and Abner Maris, and then the winner of those two go on to fight the winner of Carl Frampton, Josh Warrington. And I believe the winner of Carl Frampton, Josh Warrington, are going to have to fight Oscar Valdez because of that WBO interim status. Whatever the case may be, I would love, for there to be unification. And to see, can Gary Russell beat Leo Santa Cruz? Leo Santa Cruz is a much better pressure fighter, power puncher than Jojo Diaz. We know he'll be able to jab his way on the inside. Can Gary Russell beat a Josh Warrington? Yes. Can Gary Russell beat Carl Frampton? That's not known. One thing is he's been talking about moving up. Damn, they didn't even give him a post-fight interview. One thing is he has been talking about moving up to the 130-pound division. And in the 130-pound division, when it comes to political fights that can be made, you have, like, for example, let's go look at it. For fights that can politically be made, if Gary Russell has hinted at moving up to 130 pounds, and it's not like he looked sluggish in there tonight. It was, how can I put it? You can contribute it to the layoffs, right? And when you look at the lack of competition, and he has a reputation for only fighting once a year, which is why I made the joke earlier. We might not see him until this time or later next year. Gary Russell seems to be slowing down a bit at 126 pounds, which is the reason why he's been talking about moving to 130. But politically, if he were to move to 130 pounds, then, you got this WBC fight that would be very difficult to make, which probably won't be made with Miguel Berchelt. Gervonta Davis, they got to sort this Gervonta Davis, Alberto Machado situation out. But if you look at, Gervonta Davis, and if you look at, he's an Al Heyman fighter along with Gary Russell. Gervonta Davis was there, at the fight today. When you look at Tevin Former versus Billy Dibbs, he'll be fighting for the IBF. When you look at Lomachenko, will likely be staying at 135 pounds. But Al Heyman fighters usually don't fight for the WBO. And when you look at what I said here earlier with, if Gary Russell were to fight, these guys fight next month, if he was to fight the winner of this, then he would have 2 belts and his career would really start to make sense in regards to it's going somewhere. Now, if this was to happen, I would say it would happen, sometime before the end of this year or so. Now, as I said, Lee Selby lost to Josh Warrington. Josh Warrington is going to be taking on Carl Frampton. Oscar Valdez is still healing from what happened between him and Scott Quigg, that fight. But only time will tell, man. Because it's hard, as a hardcore boxing fan, to get real excited about Gary Russell, because just like Mauro Ranallo said, just like Santa Claus, you only see Gary Russell once a year, but he's always bringing gifts. It's not that he's a good fighter to watch. He's exciting, he's fast, and and with that comes entertainment, but we don't, you can't build off of him if he's only fighting once a year, whether it's injuries or not, Anyway, I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe. It's a shame we didn't get to hear from Gary Russell Jr. They didn't give him a post-fight interview. I would have loved to hear what he had to say. So, I guess I'm going to have to wait. I can't wait to really, really get back, because I was going to fights and I wasn't really appreciating, being there like I would now. Like, for example, I would have loved to, took me and my pop down to Maryland for a trip to a fight like this, or going up to Canada, for just a few days for a fight, like Adonis Stevenson versus Bado Jack. But, we're going to get there. Thank you. Shout out to Kyle and OJ for being patient. My partner Mikey overseas, partner brother now. We got a clothing line coming out. A line of merchandise that's being worked on. I got some new stuff coming myself. We're going to get back into we are, covering fights again, but now it's time to get back to full time and, really get into the nitty gritty of boxing politics and whatnot. But please subscribe. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live.